came from a far land to the land of Mexico. The so-called conquistadors. They came from a land far off in the land of Europe. They came to Mexico, and what did they do? They enslaved your ancestors. Same way our ancestors got enslaved, we got brought from Western Africa to America, the same thing happened to your ancestors. Before the conquistadors, you didn't have the last name that you had. The Bible prophesied the conquistadors coming to Mexico and raping your mothers and enslaving your fathers and giving you the Spanish language and the Catholic religion. So the question is, well, what is your nationality? Who were you before the white man showed up? And this is called the origin of the American Indians.
The Mexicans are originally the 10 tribes captured by Salmonezzer and of the family of Issachar, whom the Indians recognized as their special ancestors.
This is your history. This is the history that you must return to. These are the commandments that you must begin to keep.
And you mentioned the indigenous language of was it the Aztecs or the Mayans?
Both of them.
Both of them. Mm-hmm. You said it was connected to an old Hebrew.
Ancient Paleo-Hebrew.
Ancient. So does that mean that that language that was indigenous to what Mexico and Central America is today was a Semitic language?
Yeah. So what the schools teach you is an indoctrination. You get inducted into this indoctrination of what they want to call you or what they tell you that you are. So for instance, our people get called Hispanic, right? So Hispanic, not knowing what that term means, we call each other Hispanics, but that was under the Spaniard captivity. When the Spaniards came in 1492 and, raped, robbed, and pillaged, the people of Mexico, how they knew you were under that captivity was by calling you an Hispanic, how you belonged to a family of a Spaniard that took you worked on their plantation, you were given their last name, like my last name, Mayala. That comes from whatever captivity my family got taken into, and maybe we have to work on fields, whether it was picking, tobacco or whatever that family had us doing. That's what we did. Now Latino is different. Latino's under the Grecian captivity. That's if you were Latino, or how they differentiated the both of them is Latino actually meant that your bloodline dated back to a Grecian or a Greek, and people that are from down south, Guatemala, El Salvador, just South America, they're not Latino. Their dads aren't Greek. We're still of this brown race. Like they call black people or African Americans that are here now Africans, and they're not from Africa. They actually just got taken into captivity in Africa while fleeing Israel. Africans are Hamites. They're from the tribe of Ham. So they're just a different people. And that's why people in Africa don't accept the blacks that are here, the so-called blacks that are here in America, because they say those aren't our people, And, history, they won't teach you, in my era, they taught us a little bit of Aztecs and Mayas and Incas, just a little bit. But they never tell you how our people got here. They'll never tell you. We came from somewhere. They'll never tell you, how we read the stars. We used a thing called cenotes, which were these ponds, reflection ponds, to read the stars. While Columbus was looking up at the stars, trying to read them, trying to find these holy people that had a blessed land that was promised to them, full of riches and rich soil and all this and that, he was looking up at the stars. And he didn't know how to use geometry using the reflection ponds. And that's how we got here. Our real name is not Aztec, it's Issachar. That's our real name. They gave us the name Aztec because it means people of time, because we kept time in numbers. And so that's where that came from. So it's really important to know your history,
Have a Native American marker, you have Native American ancestry. To some degree, it does not tell you how much. But
Chapter 1. Jews and Indians. The Decalogue Stone outside Los Lunas, New Mexico, is a sight seen by few people. Its very location is something of a state secret. You need a $25 access permit from the Public Land Office to go to it. Only officials are very clear. They cannot and will not give you directions. I would never have found this Phoenician Hebrew version of the Ten Commandments, had it not been for a local Chueda, crypto-Jewish parish priest. In an age when Muslim and Jewish monuments worldwide are being desecrated, his name will remain as closely guarded as the stone's whereabouts. Suffice it to say that the Decalogue stone rests in a hidden cleft amid the dry, juniper-studded hills of South Albuquerque, near the edge of the Isleta Pueblo Indian Reservation. It was Professor Robert Pfeiffer of Harvard University who first translated the Decalogue stone in 1949. He identified it as a short version of the Ten Commandments, as given in Exodus 20, and noted that the style of Hebrew letters on it was in use from about 1000 BCE. This dating would place it in the age of Solomon, builder of the first temple in Jerusalem. It became the main focus of the Epigraphic Society's meeting in 1984, after a full account appeared by Professor Joseph Navy of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem and his team. Barry Fell reported later on the punctuation in the inscription. Theories have continued to spring up about how an archaic Hebrew text of the Ten Commandments could have been incised in expert, ancient capitals in the face of a multi-ton boulder of volcanic basalt, one of the hardest minerals on Earth. They range from a mad professor's joke to a marooned Phoenician to a troop of Boy Scouts to you name it. Few seem to want to believe it can exist, but there it was before my very eyes. It says, I am Jehovah thy God, who hath taken thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of slaves. There must be no other gods before my face. Thou must not make any idol. Thou must not take the name of Jehovah in vain. Remember the Sabbath day, and keep it holy. Honor thy father and thy mother, so that thy days may be long in the land that Jehovah thy God has given to thee. Thou must not murder. Thou must not commit adultery. Thou must not steal. Thou must not give a false witness against thy neighbor. Thou must not desire the wife of thy neighbor, nor anything that is his. The inscription is Epilogue. The inscription on the Los Lunas Decalogue stone in Hebrew reads, Anochi Yahweh Elohecha Hashem.
¡Vasco! ¡Maldición! ¿Dónde está mi lengua? ¡Vasco! ¡Venid, hombre, que me hacéis falta! ¿Qué pase? Y quede bien sabido en este tiempo de luz y hierro que todo lo que ha sucedido es en defensa de la siempre Virgen María. Y por lo mismo queda absuelto por la gracia que le es dado a su majestad don Hernando Cortés en su lucha contra los herejes que por lo visto aún se arrastran entre vosotros.
Dice que vuestras palabras en nada responden a la imagen que tienen de la gran señora de piel blanca.
Que nadie se atreva a moverse hasta no haberse cumplido esta sentencia.
Por la memoria de mi padre.
¡Cristóbal!
executed in order to save their lives.
What are they doing here? They're Indians.
Ah, this is one of my many unsuccessful experiments. You see, with Indians, there's absolutely nothing to be done. There's the same difference between a Negro and an Indian as there is between a dog and a coyote. You can put a dog on a leash, beat him, and he'll always be there to lick your feet. Take away a coyote's liberty and you've cut off his hair. An Indian will never be a slave. No one has ever been able to make them reproduce in captivity. They do not eat, they do not talk, they do not sleep, they do not make love. On the other hand, these people exaggerate. The Negro...
Israel. They knew God and they rejected him, and he put a curse upon them. Eliminate the Indians entirely, beginning with the Pasquinel brothers.
Eliminate? You mean slaughter?
They are God's outlaws. Lamanites. Remnants of the lost tribes of Israel. They knew God and they rejected him, and he put a curse upon them. Eliminate the...
Well, this here's my new trunk buster. This is my daughter, Catherine. Shalom Aleichem, Jackson 2 Bears.
Mr. Ballou, what's the use of saying Shalom Aleichem to me? I'm a full Sioux Indian. I'm not one of the chosen people.
All right, go ahead being stubborn if you want.
Well, I ain't stubborn.
Oh, not much you ain't. You know, according to an ex-congressman of these United States I heard give a lecture at the Chautauqua this winter, Indians is the lost tribe of Israel, but he won't admit it.
Just ain't true.
He was an ex-congressman of these United States, I tell you.
Oh, Papa, maybe he was mistaken.
Oh, no, he was not. Jackson just got a mean, stubborn streak in him is all. I brought Mr. Bernstein, the telegraph operator, out here from town last month, and he stood right where you're standing now, and he talked Hebrew at Jackson for 10 minutes by my watch, and Jackson pretended he didn't understand a word. Now, I call that stubborn.
Well, I didn't understand a word.
You see what I mean? Now, you get that trunk down out there. I'll get the sergeant.
But he shall overcome at the last. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. 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 But he shall overcome at the last.